As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
There's no crying in baseball!
I ate his liver with some fava beans. Nice caliente.
That was totally wicked!
If I can change, and you can change, everybody can change!
And welcome to another episode of Your Next Favorite Movie. I am your host, Josh G. And today I am joined by the podcast that wouldn't die. Please welcome Kevin and Erin to the show.
Hello.
All right, so Kevin, I'll let you kick it off. Why don't you tell everyone what the podcast that wouldn't die is all about?
Podcast that wouldn't die. Each week we discuss horror and science fiction movies with a comedic twist, guilty pleasures, and forgotten classics. So give us a listen.
Erin, you have anything to add to that?
You know, I'm just like the lamprey that is attached to Kevin's, shark. So I'm along for the ride. I'm here for comedic comments, sarcasm, and to tell Kevin he's wrong. That's why I'm here.
Okay. All right. So where'd the name come from? So I like it.
That's funny. When we discussed starting our own podcast, we were banding about different names. We were coming up with like the podcast that time forgot. There were a few others. I just remember seeing there was a science fiction movie from like the 50s called The Brain That Wouldn't Die.
Yep, I've heard of that. I haven't seen it, but I've heard of it.
So that kind of inspired us. Also, because we used to have a YouTube show that did die. So we've been resurrected. There you go.
Okay, nice. Oh, and Erin, you talk about the comedy. You now are the reason that I say at Gmail when I'm just talking about it.
Yay! Thank you.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. I started listening to that, and every time you say Gmail, I was like, "Oh my god, I love it! I love the way you say like this."
Yay!
All right, we're gonna go back to a Stone Cold classic tonight. Go back to 1968, Roman Polanski's Rosemary's Baby.
Paramount Pictures presents Mia Farrow in a William Castle production, Rosemary's Baby, co-starring John Cassavetes, Ruth Gordon, Sidney Blackmer, Morris Evans, and Ralph Bellamy, written for the screen and directed by Roman Polanski, from the best-selling novel by Ira Levin, suggested for mature audiences.
Booyah!
Right. So, Erin, I'll let you kick it off. When did you first see Rosemary's Baby?
Oh, for sure. I saw it on TV, like super edited, probably. I don't know if it was Elvira. Did you have Elvira on TV when you were growing up? I think I'm a little older than you. Elvira was out of LA, and she would have these Saturday horror things, and she would interject it with humor. So I'm guessing that's probably where I saw it. Because I remember renting it finally. I was like, oh, I don't remember that. I don't remember her being naked. What? It's like when the first time you see The Exorcist in its real form, not on TV, you're like, oh, I didn't remember that. But I mean, honest to God, Rosemary's Baby is just a great movie. It's not a great horror movie. It's just a great movie. It's definitely on the top 10.
Kevin, what about you?
I'm trying to think. I think I saw it the first time on one of those like Halloween, like month of movies on AMC or TMC or one of those deals. And I just loved it. I mean, it is so great. I mean, you've got Mia Farrow, Nick Cassavetes or John one of the Cassavetes.
One of the Cassavetes.
There's so many. Ruth Gordon. I mean, it is.
Oh
dynamite.
my God. Roman Polanski.
Of course.
You got like the Tate murders in there. I mean, It's got all kinds of good stuff.
Yeah. And as to the Elvira, I did not have Elvira. I grew up in the Monster Vision era with Joe Bob.
Joe Bob, baby.
Oh my God, love Joe Bob.
So,
Back in the old days when I lived in the Bay Area, Joe Bob used to have his drive-in movie reviews in the San Francisco Chronicle. So I would always try to get the Sunday paper just to read his little reviews. Joe Bob says, check it out.
okay. All right. Yeah, I would say I probably didn't see this till I just bought it on DVD because I'd always heard it was a classic in the early 2000s, and that's when I finally watched it. Yeah, I saw the full version the first time at least, so I didn't have to be shocked when I got to see. Oh, wait a minute!
And then of course
go for it.
I was gonna say, then there's all like I used to read all the trashy tell-all novels. So I read the Kitty Kelly Sinatra book. So they all talk about Rosemary's Baby and how in a rage that Sinatra was that Mia Farrow cut her hair so short, and apparently it led to their breakup and everything.
Crazy.
All right, so on the off chance, because I use these as introductory episodes sometimes, tell everyone what Rosemary's Baby is about if they haven't seen it.
Take it.
All right, boom. Rosemary's Baby, cute young couple move into like a way too nice apartment in New York City. He's an actor. She's a stay-at-home wife. Weird neighbors. Oh, her husband's not making it so well in Hollywood. He starts spending a lot of time with a wacky couple next door, and then more time, and then weird problems with the pregnancy. Whoa, I don't feel right. I think there's something going on. Oh, I made a friend. Hey, she committed suicide. And then more pregnancy trauma. The doctor's crazy. I'm going to somewhere else. I'm captured. I'm taken back to the house. Boom, your baby's gone. Hey, there's chanting and a baby cry. Hey, I gave birth to the devil. Whoops, my husband's a piece of shit. Kill him and I'll raise the devil baby. The end.
Kevin, can you add to that?
I just love her husband is on board from Jump Street. I mean, the moment the crazy old couple next door, like, hey, come on board with the devil worshiping and we'll help your acting career take off. He's in.
Yep.
He doesn't take a whole lot of convincing.
No.
One cocktail with Roman and Mimi. That's it. Boom. Oh, he is such a shit bag.
Absolutely.
Totally.
Yeah. So have you guys read the book?
Strangely enough, I read the second book, but
I read the second
book.
Right. Son of Rosemary, right?
How weird is that we read the second book, but never the first book?
Okay, well, then you can actually probably answer this question. Where would a sequel go? That would be it. So I don't know what happens in the book, so you could talk about that. That would be where the sequel is.
Kevin, your brain is fresher than mine. Do you remember? I remember her. Like she's teaching him not to be devilly or something like that, isn't it? That's a vague recollection.
It's something like that, but I think it's also very much like Damien the Omen kind of thing, where it's like he's taken over the world kind of thing, because he's not the devil, he's the Antichrist. That's the thing. So it's like he's convincing everybody to get on board with his plans for world domination, something like that.
Okay.
I thought it was more like it's a nature nurture thing. So yeah, your dad's Satan, but if I raise you in a warm, loving home, maybe you don't want to like burn the earth down. And I never understood that. Why does the devil want to destroy the earth? Then what's he gonna do?
Right. These are important questions. There was also like a made-for-TV sequel, if I remember correctly, with like Patty Duke or somebody. You were like Ruth Gordon was the only one who came back for the made-for-TV sequel. So check that out.
Okay.
Or don't.
Yeah, it's like I don't know how accessible that is, but
I'm sure we can find it on YouTube.
that may be true.
That's hilarious.
So taking the book aside, if you had gotten to have your own sequel, probably wouldn't have wanted it. But if you'd gotten it, what would you have wanted to see? Would you want to see play out the way that book did, or something different?
I want to see her make a pact with them, honestly, where she gets rid of the husband, and then that'd be satisfying enough. You know what I mean?
He's the betrayer. He's the ultimate betrayer. He was the one who was supposed to defend her and protect her, and he totally doesn't. He totally gets right on board with bringing in the old crazy devil worshippers next door and all their friends into the marital bedroom, for goodness sake.
Oh, freak out. It's kind of like this year's episode of American Horror Story, if you're watching that, where the husband ends up betraying the wife because there's a magic pill that makes you, if you have any talent at all, this pill intensifies that. Side effect is you're a vampire. But
oh, damn.
Okay.
Oh, damn.
But it's the whole thing. Oh, I love you, but my career. Fuck off.
Well, there's the long like sex montage with the devil, basically, where it's like they're like the werewolf is in bed like scratching her or whatever, and he totally gaslights her the next morning. He's like, "Oh, don't worry, honey, I cut my nails."
Yeah, I cut them already. I took care of that.
And then he's like, she's like, "Didn't you notice that I was just laying there?" He's like, "Oh, I kind of enjoyed it in a necrophile kind of way." What? Yeah. Are you serious?
I have to tell you, that's one of the best scenes because it truly is. It's like that dreamlight state. She's half drugged, half awake, where all the audio input is kind of drifting in and her mind is turning it into these different weird dreams. It's like something that like is real. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I thought that was genius.
Yeah, I think that's a good example of when people describe something as a fever dream sequence. I think they should point to that scene. That's a good one.
No question.
Yeah. All right, now we're getting into territory. You talked about a made-for-TV sequel, but let's say they decided to remake this thing today.
Boom! I've been working on this for days.
All right,
but
I love it.
But I want Kevin to go first so I can tell him he's wrong.
Okay, you're right.
I even wrote down who I want to be Laura Louise and Dr. Saperstein.
Oh, okay.
Oh, damn. Who's playing the Charles Grodin part is what I want to know.
I did consider that. I'm like, Aaron, quit wasting your time. You got to do some chores and do some laundry. Did you come up with the new Charles Grodin? And is it oh my God.
No.
Is it the guy from The Room?
Oh my God, Tommy Wiseau?
Yeah, he's the one.
The guy who played him in the remake.
Oh, Dave Franco?
James Franco.
James Franco.
Or not James Franco. I keep messing up.
Dave's in it. He's in the Disaster Artist, but yeah.
I kept trying to find a role in my version of Rosemary's Baby for James Franco because he is maybe he could be like the Japanese photographer later on. That'll be the James Franco.
I mean, he could be Kevin. The husband, frankly. I mean, now that you're mentioning it. Okay, here's what I went with.
No, you'd need a real actor for that.
Boom.
Mic drop.
All right, who's Rosemary, Kevin?
I chose Emma Watson, Hermione from the Harry Potter movies. If you've seen her lately, she has that kind of pixie girl cut. And she's kind of waifish like Mia Farrow was. That's what I was thinking.
All
Madness,
right, you ready?
Say?
Do you want to hear mine?
Go ahead, hit me.
Zooey Deschanel.
Oh God!
Because Mia Farrow is a total ding dong head. She's like, and so is Zoe. Boom. We'll just give her a pixie cut. She's got those dead shark eyes. She's just kind of floating around in this relationship. Why not?
That's hilarious. I mean, Zoe's that way in The Happening. I don't know if she's like that in all of her roles, but okay.
I suspect she's like that in her own living room. That's my theory.
What was his name's Guy, right? Guy.
Who's Guy?
Zac Efron. Kind of douchey, maybe. I don't know. Because I had to pick somebody that's a little bit older than Emma Watson or looks a little bit older, but is still kind of a contemporary. I don't know.
You ready?
Lay it on me.
Donald Glover.
Ooh, That's an interesting choice. Now, why do you think Donald Glover? That's good.
Okay. So I was thinking, you don't want someone coming in full Nicholson where you're like, oh yeah, guilty. Boom. Donald
That's
Glover,
true.
like Community, kind of cool. But then he did that music video where he'd look in the camera a certain way, and you're like, he can flip it and be kind of devilish.
That's true. And that's the thing. It's like, should he already be kind of an asshole from Jump Street? That's the question. Is he already questionable? Or should he be totally loving and doting and then get tempted to the dark side? That's a question.
I was trying to figure out, is this just how, is it a period piece? Is this just husbands back in the late 60s? Woman, get my meal. Where's my slippers? Where's my pipe? Or is he just like a douche? Or is he both? I don't know.
That's a good
Josh,
question.
what do you think? Is this just how men were back in the day?
Yeah.
If you had
Probably so. That'd be my guess.
a
Unfortunately.
little from column A, a little from column B.
Well, and you also have to think he is obviously a successful actor. Because he can, like, she doesn't work at all, and he can afford this huge apartment like in the Dakota or whatever.
Yeah, next to Yoko frickin' Ono and everybody else, they all lived in the Dakota or whatever the real. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, but no, he was just doing like Yamaha commercials. He was doing commercials for shitty scooters. So it's the Friends problem, There's no way that people from Friends ever afforded that place, and there's no way that Mia Farrow and John Cassavetes afforded this. They should be in some rat hole and they had enough money to completely redecorate, including custom furniture.
You're absolutely right. Okay, you ready?
All right, next.
I got for Roman, and this is going to knock your socks off.
All right.
Michael Caine. Michael Caine!
Let me tell you why you're wrong. You were halfway there. I went British, but I went Anthony Hopkins.
He's obviously good.
Yep.
No question.
Michael Caine.
The world needs more Michael Caine, by the way. Let me just say
Are you ready for Minnie?
Yeah, I got Maggie Smith.
Betty White.
Oh, wow.
That's outside the box.
I tried to find living people, and then I was like, but that would be totally funny. Because Ruth Gordon, she was wacky. Yes. She was a comedian.
Yes.
So, I mean, you can't throw Helen Mirren into this. You need someone who's a little kooky.
I thought about Helen Mirren, but you're absolutely right. It's like, it's got to be kind of somebody wacky. I kind of think Betty White is too much, though. Can
you imagine Betty White married to Anthony Hopkins? How about that?
That's a weird combination. It's giving me a headache.
All right, Laura Louise, who is one of my favorite characters. Because isn't Laura Louise the one from Mayberry?
Petticoat Junction or something? No, I think you're right. I think you're right.
It was either Laura Louise or the other lady used to be on the Andy Griffith Show. So that was like, what's going on in Mayberry? It's a coven of witches there too. All right, Laura Louise, Shirley MacLaine.
Oh, okay. I can see that one. Yeah. You got to remember, Shirley MacLaine played Endora in the movie version of Bewitched.
I did not know that. Oh my God. I loved Endora. That was the best part of Bewitched.
Yep.
I didn't watch
What else you got?
You're a young pup. Back in the old days, we had 11 channels. So you watched what was on.
Yeah, that's how it works.
And Dr. Saperstein, can you guess?
I have no idea. Who you got?
Morgan Freeman.
Ooh, I like that one. That is
you
good.
Never suspect him. He has the air of authority.
You know what? You're absolutely, and he does kind of shit these days. If you watch like he does a lot of straight to video stuff, so I think he'd be down. Honestly.
He's doing paycheck to paycheck right now. Yeah, if we're gonna get Betty White, we better hurry up with production, though.
Well, and Morgan Freeman is older than you think he is. He's well into his 80s as well, and so is Anthony Hopkins. All these dudes are like 90 years old. You better hurry.
They were still alive. They were hanging by a thread. There were like all these kind of crazy actors and actresses that I thought were long dead. Like the chick from The Swarm. I think she's still alive. Is the
Catherine
chick
Ross?
from? No. The one from who was in Gone with the Wind.
Olivia de Havilland is still alive?
Well, according to internet, we need to go to the internet. I think Olivia de Havilland is still alive.
She must be 200 years old. What the hell is happening here?
Well, that's another proof that she must be in the coven. Everybody's Googling that.
Yeah, because I was going to say, that movie itself's 82 years old, so.
No, she died last year.
Close, though.
Right? She
Close.
104.
Wow.
Boom. If you just held on for another year, Olivia.
Oh, my goodness.
Now, what about you, Josh? You got any ideas for this?
That's the good thing about it is I don't come up with any of them. I let the guests handle all that for me. So I'll say this. My only question with Morgan Freeman, does Rosemary ever get to the point where she questions him? Because he's got that voice that's always going to just be reassuring to you. Like
That's the thing, man.
It's hard to question him when he tells you anything.
Hook. Absolutely. You'd be like, okay. But no, speaking of someone who has actually given birth to a child, I'd be like, even Morgan Freeman, you're going to tell me that I'm going to be in pain any longer than this? Fuck you, Morgan Freeman. I'm going right on down the road.
Because that's the thing. She's like in total distress for like months.
Yeah.
And they're just like,
Months.
just drink that slop from Laura, what is her name? Linda Louise? Whatever her name is. Drink that stuff.
No, it's Mimi. It's Minnie gives her the drinks.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. Minnie's the one making up the drinks. Yeah.
Drink that. I'm not going to prescribe anything, but the weird tonics that you get from Ruth Gordon down the hall should just be more than sufficient. Really?
I mean, at one point, she is like, first of all, Mia Farrow is already like a waif. And so
Absolutely.
during this, her eyes are sinking in, and even her fucking husband doesn't give a shit because he's like, I just sold my baby to the devil, and now I'm going to be rich and famous. Woohoo! Just suck it up, honey.
Yeah.
Well, he was giving her the business because she didn't want to eat that chalky moose or whatever that Ruth Gordon dropped off.
What would your wife have said if you started talking to her like that? That moose would have been flying.
You better, I get a foot in the ass.
Yep.
Exactly. No question.
Yeah. I was like, I'm married to a Yankee woman. She ain't putting up with that shit. I'll tell you that.
I found Rosemary's character so irritating. And once again, I know it's another time, but
right.
Our mother wasn't gonna put up with that shit.
Right. Well, you think it's like kind of that thing where it's like in the 60s and the 50s where it's like your husband is also like your father or something, and you just have to.
Yeah.
You go from your father's house to your different father's house that you have sex with, basically.
Sweet Jesus.
Can't
Good
argue that.
God. Thank God those times are over. Can you can I have $5? Is it okay if I go have lunch with my friends? I'm 40 years old. Please? No.
Yeah, Ricky Ricardo would give Lucy an allowance each week, if you remember that shit.
I used to think Ricky was such a dick. I was like, Ricky. And then later on, I realized Lucy's clearly insane.
Right. It's a match made in heaven or hell.
It's like Britney Spears' dad would have been in charge of her at some point if they were alive right now.
Oh, goodness.
The state would have been involved, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Good
All
times.
right. This is where we're going to go next. You guys have done a good job, but in case someone's not sold, I want to hear those final pitches on why they should watch Rosemary's Baby. Maybe they don't like old movies from the 60s.
Go for it, Aaron.
what do I say to someone like that? That's like someone coming to me and saying, I don't like ice cream. I don't like spaghetti. Well, get the fuck away from me. God. You have to watch Rosemary's Baby because it's one of the best movies in the whole world. It is clearly Roman Polanski's apex. Some people say Chinatown, and I say no. It is Rosemary's Baby. It's scary. It's wacky. It's fun. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this. A lot of horror movies that we review, there's always something wrong with the story. No, this is a solid story. Solid acting, solid everything. You will not regret it. If you regret it, call me up and I'll hang up on you. I can't be taking calls from crazy people.
No question. No, I mean, you know what? I'm the first to admit that the movies from like the 60s, there are many that are kind of slow going, a slow burn. This is not this. You know, I feel like this gets going and it just starts slowly ratchets up the tension, ratchets it up, and then you're feeling it. You're right there. And when you don't think you can handle it anymore, Charles Grodin shows up before he got his best toupee. So, I mean, that really adds a whole nother level. It's dynamite. Check it out, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely. It is solid, 100% solid.
All right. I think you guys did a good job, and I think that's going to wrap this one up. So why don't you tell everyone once again where they can find you? I'm going to let Kevin do the socials, and Erin, you're hitting us with that email. So
all right, Kevin.
We are on Twitter at T Podcast TW Die. We are on Facebook at the Podcast That Wouldn't Die. Erin, what else are we on?
We're on Gmail. Actually now we're on the Insta now too, and the Twitski. So if you want to email us, we are the Podcast That Wouldn't Die at Gmail. And you can reach out to me. I am the Cult of Erin. Join the cult.
Well, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere the finer podcasts are available.
But not SoundCloud.
I don't know if I'm on SoundCloud. That's a good point. I don't know. But you can follow the show at YNF Movie Pod on Twitter and Instagram. Pretty much wherever you get your podcast. SoundCloud not included because I don't know. I'd have to check that out. I'm on YouTube as well. And then, of course, come back next week as I'll have a new guest and a new movie. And who knows, that may become your next favorite movie. You guys take care. I'll talk to you next time.